Hello and welcome to AI for Yoga Teachers social media game. I'm Lizzie Lassiter. I'd love you to find your way to the chat and let us know where in the world you're Zoom. Let me make sure I'm on the right microphone. So let's see who's here with us in the chat. North Florida, welcome, Karen. Vancouver, British Columbia. London, Munich, Belgium. Hi, Nadine. New Mexico, Stuttgart, Michigan. Lon is in London, Boston, Netherlands. Hi. Okay. So tools you will need for today's session are your yoga mat, maybe two blocks. It would be a great idea to have an actual journal with you and a pen. We're going to do a little bit of analog plus AI work. Who has been to one of my AI for yoga teachers sessions before? Give a yes in the chat if you've been with us before. Me, yes, Renata. Yes, yes, Katya. Okay, Katrina, Estella. Yeah, so wonderful to have you all back. Today, we are focused on the game of social media, and I hope to help you shift your mindset and give you some practical tools for how to see this space differently, what you're doing here, how you can do it with a little bit more. In German, there's this great word, Leichtigkeit, a little bit more lightness and playfulness. Okay, so I will share my screen with you and we'll get started. AI for yoga teachers, social media game. And it's a pun for me, the title of this workshop, this class, because it's your social media game, meaning how good you are at social media, but also seeing social media as a game that you're playing as a creator and that we're all playing as consumers, tapping into that sense of playfulness for us all. So I firmly believe that you don't need a content plan. As a yoga teacher or a studio owner, those of you who are here in the room with me right now, you don't need to follow. Who has heard that? Give a yes in the chat if you've heard that idea of needing a content plan, needing to plan out for a month. Yeah. And when you hear that, let me know with a single. Kathy says yes to three, four exclamation points. When you hear that, give in a single word, how do you feel in reaction to the idea of needing to plan out your content for a month at a time? Anxious, inadequate, overwhelmed, pressure, panicked. Exactly. Stressed, arg, all of the above. These are the horrible. Yes, I will never start, Nadine. Exactly. I literally had a conversation with an artist friend of mine this morning in my kitchen and as she was making us green tea, and we were talking about social media, and she said, this is the quote, I know I should plan out my content for a whole month. She's writing a PhD about listening, super interesting. And she said, I should plan out my content and do a whole month of content about different ways of listening. But that's too overwhelming. I never have time to do that. So I don't post anything. Give a yes if that feels familiar, that type of thought process for yourself. Lon is saying yes. Yep, says Claire. Yes, 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 Tracy. So it's like we make the goal so big and we make the mountain so high. Sophia says completely that it's impossible. So the good news is I'm here to tell you, I do not plan my content. Zero planning. Zero planning. I know what I'm going to post tomorrow because I had an idea of something that I haven't had time to finish making. I'm halfway through making a reel. So I'm going to post that tomorrow. I wanted to post it today, but I made this presentation for you instead. But I don't know what I'm going to post the day after that. Like no idea. So my thesis for you, I hope to convince you in today's 90-minute class that you don't need a content plan. You need to get on your yoga mat. And what I mean by that is social media overwhelms yogis because it pulls our attention outward. And that is exactly the opposite of what we're training in yoga and what we're teaching our students as we teach. all of the practices of yoga, not just asana, but are about training our attention. And we know that on a deep level. And so I think many of us have a internal conflict with social media, either as a consumer or as a producer. Write the word conflict if that sounds familiar. If you feel a sense of push-pull, very conflicted, said Kathy. It's a sense of push-pull because you know that you want to keep your blinders on and you love the feeling of getting into your practice. And this morning I did something really juicy with the breath during my practice. I'm going to share with you in a couple minutes when we get on our mats together. And we love that sense of focus that arises. And we know that social media is all about distraction. Yeah. However, if we want yoga to help more people, which I deeply do, I dream of a world in which every single person practices yoga for 15 minutes in the morning before they drink their coffee. We have to let it be seen. We have to be willing to put it out there. And visibility is part of service. As a yoga teacher, I consider it a service profession. I'm here to serve. And if I'm unwilling to be visible, I am serving fewer people. So, what I can teach you, not just in today's class, but in my Start Before You're Ready mentorship program, which you'll hear more about later, is how to create content directly from your practice, your home practice. And what's fantastic about that is you get to plug into the interoceptive talents which you are developing through your home practice, your skills at listening, and you're going to tap into your own intuition. And when you couple that with the method I'm going to show you today of how to kind of essentially mine your own practice for insights, coupled with some really easy AI overlays, I would say, or tools, you're going to be able to create directly from your practice. That's what I do, is what I've been doing for years. It seems so obvious to me, and I've started sharing it, and it has really resonated. Give a yes in the chat if either this is resonating with you right now, or if you've been with me for another class and you've seen the process that I'm talking about, the process of matching movement or stillness and silence, but matching the practice. Eileen says yes, absolutely. Sí, mucho. Yes, yes, yes. So it's very simple. It has been profound for me. And that is how I can produce so much content without a plan. I have a strategy that's different. I have an overarching idea of what I'm showing up to do. And I have an overarching idea of, okay, we have a winter rest class coming up on December 14th. So between now and then, I'm going to talk about that. But what specifically I'm going to say about it depends what happens in my practice. Okay. So now I love this. This is the big idea for today. Lizzie Lassiter, I've never been ready. I have built this business, which is the best job in the world and is so much fun to do yoga online with all of you by trying, experimenting, posting, failing, iterating. It doesn't say it here, but absolutely deleting things that I didn't like after I posted them, jumping and trusting that the net will appear. So every new idea teaches me more than waiting ever could. This is embedded in the Start Before You're Ready philosophy. What I'm going to teach you today, what I teach in mentorship, is the idea of taking small steps, moving forward. Yes, Pema Chodron says fail, fail again, fail better. Today, just before, I was out in my garden and I was lying on a um, Liege in German. I don't know what it's called, like a lounge, a lounge chair. And I was looking up at, there's a little balcony, and I've noticed for the first time it has this very beautiful copper rain pipe the house is 100 years old, handmade copper rain pipe that goes around. And it's a round balcony. And when I looked at it closely today, what I noticed was that it's all made out of straight sections of copper pipe. So somebody cut and welded very beautifully together a bunch of straight sections to become a curve. So that's how you change directions. You don't have to be able to make a curve. You don't have to know how to curve yourself. We could say in this analogy, curvature is not possible. But by slowly cutting straight sections and repeating that action over and over, you can make a 90-degree turn happen. Give a yes in the chat if that makes sense. My copper pipe analogy. That's what I'm going to teach you to do. It's about small, practical, step by step by step by step. Sometimes you're going to fail. You're going to learn from what you failed, what your failures. I sent out an email today to my whole Start Before You're Ready email list and realized I forgot to mention and remind everyone to come to this class. So an hour later, I sent out a second email to everyone. Just said, by the way, here's the Zoom link. Small redirections toward a new place. Exactly, Laura, you've got it. Okay, so the next thing we want to ask is your body ready? This is how I start every class inside of Start Before You're Ready. We do something with our bodies. And what we're doing today, we're going to do 10 minutes of moving pranayama. So we're going to do simple yoga shapes, but the reason I call it a pranayama is because we anchor our attention in the breath. And the breath is the focus, the shapes are secondary. So even if you're practicing somewhere where you don't have a mat, it's not really that important. It's not a performance of the perfect asana shapes. We're trying to stay really close to the breath. We'll have the eyes closed mostly. And the aim here is very clearly to quiet the nervous system and awaken the body. And the breath work that we're going to do is going to create an internal spaciousness for the work that we're doing in this class. Okay. We're going to get out of our heads a little bit, use the breath to help us get into the bodies. Okay. So, any questions? Let me stop sharing. Any questions before we move to the mat? Let me go to gallery view so I can see everyone. Yeah, everyone good? Laura's smiling. Monette is reorganizing to her mat. Perfect. Eileen is already folding a blanket. She's ready to go. Or maybe she's taking her Shavasana setup away from before. I was just doing Shavasana before we started. So you're in good company. Okay. Find your way to the mat. If you have two blocks, I think that would be a good idea because it's always nice to be able to adjust the amplitude or the intensity of the pose. All right, I'm going to set a timer. I really mean it with the 10 minutes. I have my blocks at the front of my mat nearby. We'll start on our knees. And here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, palms down in front of the heart. Let's see where we go. Let's see what happens. Come onto your hands and knees, exhaling. We begin by dropping the head and dropping the tailbone. And inhaling, lifting the heart, lifting the tailbone. Noticing here the state of your sacrum. The sacrum is that bone at the base of your spine that connects your vertebral column to your pelvis. So just noticing if there's any creaky sensation or pain. Often it's on one side as we move through a couple more rounds of cat-cow. And I'm going to suggest with the breath here, as you initiate the movements from the pelvis, you exhale, you lift and round, and then you pause. Movement and breath. No breath in, no breath out. And then you inhale. The lungs are full and you pause. No breath in, no breath out. One more time like that. Exhale. Pause and inhale. and release. Step the legs back. Let's just go straight to plank, straight to the worst of it. We're going to stay here for about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. If your knees feel better down, you can leave them down. Shift your weight slightly forward here and then slightly back through the heels. And lift the belly up. Come towards downward facing dog. The shoulder blades are moving towards the hands. Talked about that a lot in experiential anatomy this year. Shoulder blades towards the hands, pelvis lifts up and away. Again, finding the breath. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. 3 more breaths like that. And lower the knees, come down to child's pose, make a round shape, draw the hands behind you towards the feet and round forward. Continuing with that breath pattern. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Okay, look forward, crawl forward onto your belly. The next inhalation, let your feet come as wide as they want to be, toes turned in. Inhale. Lift up any amount towards cobra. And exhale. Come down and take a full breath where nothing happens. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Take a normal breath in and a normal breath out. Remember, this is a moving pranayama. It's not so much about the shapes or the intensity of the shapes. Pause. Exhale. We come down. Normal breath in. Normal breath out. Find your way up through your hands and knees. Step your right foot forward. Here's where blocks would be great. Fingertips on the block, palms on the block. Inhale. The weight is forward. Exhale. I lift my front toes and bow the head and pause. So there's a pause between the exhalation before the next inhale comes. Inhale. And exhale. Last time on this side. Inhale, coming forward, sweep the arms up. Pause. Exhale, lean back. Come all the way to hands and knees. And bring the second foot forward, the left foot forward. Inhale, come forward. After a pause, you exhale and shift. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, shift back. Last time here, inhale. Sweep the arms up. Pause at the top. And exhale. Okay, you're going to bring your right foot forward and come onto your back. Roll onto your back. Soles of the feet down. Inhale, lift the pelvis. Exhale, release. Normal breath in, normal breath out. Inhale, lift. Pause, feel your sitting bones squeezing towards each other. Exhale, release. And take a pause. Feel your sitting bones release away from each other. Normal breath in. Pelvic floor is relaxed. Normal breath out. So as you lift up, you're not making it happen with the pelvic floor, but it does contract. Pause. Exhale. Bring all of your attention to your pelvic floor. What's happening here during this set of movements, this set of breaths? Release the bridge pose now and bring your knees towards the left. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. The knees come over to the right. Now roll yourself all the way over to the side. Press yourself up to sitting. In our last minute of the practice, come to a comfortable seat. I'm going to sit in Virasana on my block. Close your eyes. Sit in a way that your pelvis can tilt forward so that your sacrum is at an angle. Your knees are as wide as they need to be if you're in Virasana. And continuing that breathing pattern. Inhale. Pause. It's a pause, not a hold. Exhale. Pause. Normal breath in. Normal breath out. Continuing on your own in silence. Inhaling, open the palms away from the body. With an exhalation, bring them together in front of the heart. And come back up to your computer. In a single word, type into the chat now. How do you feel? How does your body mind feel? Debbie saying heart, serene, peace, calm, light, calmed, calm, connected, spacious, centered, relaxed, joyful. Yeah. So this is the space from which I want you to create your next piece of content. Okay? This settled, balanced, awake, centered, relaxed, joyful, spacious. This is the place where all the good stuff comes from. Let's go back to my presentation. So now that I've got you calmed down, I want to say something triggering, potentially triggering. If you're a yoga teacher who is avoiding social media, you're also avoiding serving the exact students who need your work. A question for you, a journaling prompt that I would suggest you work with in the next couple of days. Who am I hiding from? What am I avoiding? What am I afraid of? If I were you, I would set a timer for 10 minutes and write. After my practice, I would do something like that. And then I would sit down with my journal for 10 minutes and I would write on those questions. Why do yoga teachers choose to stay invisible? This is my thesis or my theory. Social media feels fake. It feels noisy or misaligned with what we're doing with yoga. And we know either explicitly or implicitly that these algorithms are rewarding speed and outrage, and they're not pushing depth and nuance. So we hold back and hope that students will just magically find us. For whom does that sound familiar? Am I talking about anyone who's here in the class today? Give a yes. If Renata says that's me, Claire, Patricia, Tracy, Katrina, Kathy, Sandra. Yeah, Yvonne. Okay. Yes, yes, it's magical thinking. Absolutely, says Julia. Okay. So when I'm talking about social media, I'm going to interchange the word social media and Instagram, Facebook. It's all very similar in my view. So, how do you feel about social media? I'd love to know. Shy, conflicted, disgusted? Give a word in the chat. What is your word? The first word that pops into your mind. When I think about Instagram, I feel fake, overwhelmed, exhausted, vapid, time waster. I don't like it. I feel judged. I feel shy, fake, stressed, confused, triggered, distracted, all of the above, irritated, drained. Yeah, you're not alone. Look at the chat. Everyone feels that way. Um, yeah, June says it brings out the envy and the judgment in me. We're going to talk about that today. Absolutely. Um, and Sarah, I think I understand what you're saying. It feels like just one more thing. It's like it's the thing we also have to be doing. It's the one more thing on the to-do list that we never get to. Monette says, I feel competitive. Teresa says, I don't understand the algorithm needs. I'm hoping to help you understand that. It's always shifting, but I have a take on it, what I think is going on right now. So you're in the right room. All of you in the chat, 100% are in the right room. If you want to serve more students without selling out, if you're ready to stop people pleasing and actually implement a strategy, if you want to grow but you're not interested in grinding and you want to show up without second guessing yourself, because that's so exhausting. Betty is a Luddite. Yes, but there's something about it that interests you, Betty, or you wouldn't have come to this class. I think there's some ambivalence or some push-pull or some interest, unless you're just here to support me, which I appreciate. Um, June says, I love filming for social. Okay, but maybe not posting. This class isn't right for you if you're looking for quick results without inner work. My whole focus, as you have started to see, is about inner transformation. If you're unwilling to share your voice publicly, I can't help you. Or if you expect growth without consistent effort, or if you want kind of viral hacks, I don't know any of those. Um, so what are we going to learn today? Number one, how to approach creating for Instagram from your practice. My interpretation of the golden rule of Instagram, which is emotion beats information. Then a framework for noticing content that resonates with you when you're consuming content, and that's from the body. And daily ways that I'm using AI to stay consistent and not feel like I'm performing, but to feel like I'm using the tools to share my actual voice, share my actual polish, my actual thoughts, and help me move from my idea scribbled in my notebook to an Instagram post more quickly. Because those of you who have been with me before know that I'm obsessed with what I call up at bats. So that's like if you look at Instagram, there's the number of followers that someone has. I'll just show it to you. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about because I think this is fascinating. Um, I talked about this in one of my last sessions. So this is my website. If you go to lizzielasseter.com, you can find my Instagram and my YouTube. Um, if you look here, people always look at this number, the number of followers. But what I think is really much more interesting is the number of posts, which, if you know American baseball, it's like up at bats. It's how many times you've swung and missed or swung and hit a home run. This is the number you need to be obsessed with. Trying to post every day, every other day, 3 times a week, just trying to get that posts number up is inevitably going to increase all of your other metrics on the platform, in my opinion, in my experience. So I want to double check that you're subscribed to my Start Before You're Ready newsletter. This QR code is very fancy. If you point your phone right here at the QR code, it'll take you to the website where you can subscribe. I'm sure most of you are already. The replay of this class and all of the YouTube videos that I create for Start Before You're Ready go out via that newsletter. So make sure you're subscribed there, or you can go to newsletter.lasseter.yoga/start. Okay, giving you one more second to focus your phone on this and make sure you're subscribed before we move on. Okay. If you feel inspired by the work that I share today, the lessons, the transformations, then at the end of class, I'm going to invite you to work with me if you would like to join my mentorship. The next round of Start Before You're Ready starts on January 21st. There's already a group of students who have jumped in there. We're enrolling more students. So if something in this class resonated, if it sparked a sense of courage or self-trust or clarity, I would love to support you further. This is just an invitation. It's not a pitch. I will tell you very clearly when the class is over and then I'm starting to share about the mentorship. It'll be very obvious. And I would love to invite you to take another step if you're interested. Let me introduce myself. I'm Lizzie Lasseter, designer, educator, second generation yoga teacher. Many of you know my mom, Judith Hanson Lasseter. I help yoga teachers grow their businesses with clarity and consistency without burnout. So, what I'm really thinking about a lot recently is that Start Before You're Ready is for people who are yoga teachers who want to grow it into a yoga business. And that shift in mindset and strategy is what we're working on, that bridge. And the thing about burnout is it's very physical. So burnout starts in the body. Of course, there's a mental component to it, but ways to work consistently at a high level without burnout are things I talk about in the mentorship, things that I practice on a daily basis. It's prioritizing eating well, moving, sleeping, like being with friends, having some social contact, not just staring into your phone and being on your computer, but being productive. That's an unsustainable model. So I just want to clarify, I am not teaching that. I am not modeling that. I am not living that. Just before this class, I was lying on my Liga on my chair outside, looking up at my balcony above there, and my 6-year-old son was lying on my belly, and we were laughing with each other, laughing. And I wasn't in here finishing that reel that I was supposed to post to promote this class. I was instead taking the time to let Felix. Have you ever done that with someone? He was like lying on me and we were just laughing, and just laughing was making him laugh. And then he was making me laugh, I was making him laugh, and we were just laughing back and forth. So, like, that's a really important part of my life. I'm super productive in the mornings. I spend the afternoons with my kids. I Zoom at night with my Americans, with my mom. Okay, so I have a master's degree in design from Columbia University and a decade of experience teaching online. We've been doing this for over a decade. What I'm interested in is integrating embodiment, creativity, and structure. I see a couple things in the chat. What are people saying? Yeah, it was really sweet, Sophia. It was, we just kept saying what to each other? What? 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 laughing. So I live in Salzburg, Austria, which is the most beautiful place on the earth, on planet Earth. That's why I live here. And I'm running a yoga education platform and raising these two 6-year-old twin boys. So this is what students say about working with me inside of this container. Number one, I stopped overthinking and started showing up, which is huge. Like imagine yourself in January saying that. I'm not overthinking anymore. I'm just showing up on my Instagram or on my newsletter, or I've redone my website. You probably won't say it in January if you start working with me in January, but you might say it in February or March. I finally feel proud of my online presence. So give a yes in the chat if you are embarrassed currently at this moment, if you would be embarrassed if I went to your website or to your Instagram or subscribed to your newsletter. Does anyone feel embarrassed about what they're currently putting out into the world? Tracy is saying yes. A little says Rocio. Oh, hi, Rocio. Monette says yes. There would be nothing to see, says June. Okay, indeed. Yes, yes, yes. hmm Claire says I don't feel it's good enough. I love that Eileen says no. That's really good. Um, no, there's some no's, not embarrassed, but it could be better. What website? Says Brenda. Okay. So I want to play for you this 2-minute clip. This is from Sarah with permission. Sarah is in the current cohort of Start Before You're Ready. And I just want to, her enthusiasm is so obvious. And I want to give you a taste of what it's going to feel like if you join Start Before You're Ready. And then we're going to start talking about the social media game. So let me share this Sarah thing with you. I got to share my sound and go here, share. Okay.
Hi there. So I'm Sarah, I'm in London. And I just want to say already just how impactful this course has been. So on so many levels, I've got back into my early morning meditation, which had slipped, and following your process, love it. I can see that's now gonna hopefully stay because I can see how valuable it is. And then just all the things you've set us. I mean, looking back on old Instagram posts, yes, I might have had some of the elements, but not all of the elements you said. And then I've done some posts this week, and you've just given us a structure to follow. And I just feel it's really good. It's brilliant. And then I followed your advice of asking my students for feedback for our USPs. Oh my God, amazing. So they've all come back. Yes, so many have been happy to respond. And I'm just getting recurrent themes coming back. I copied them all into ChatGPT, got that to refine it. And it's like, wow, my God, it's just really good. So I just want to say thank you. All of that burble, I just want to say thank you.
You're so welcome. That's really inspiring. I love hearing you. What I hear from you is that you have a sense of uplift and a sense of momentum.
Yeah,
And this is kind of restarted your, first of all, meditation, which is where it all starts on the
totally.
mat. And then your confidence, like asking your students, and then there's like, I know that you all are fabulous teachers. Like, you don't know how fabulous, none of us know how fabulous we actually are because we don't experience ourselves. And it's so easy to forget what it is that we're offering. I love hearing that you had the courage to ask your students and
Mm.
read it.
No, it's been really good. So just thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So that is really dramatic. I love what she says. Oh, wait, I gotta close my YouTube started automatically playing. Let's go back here. So, oops, wrong share. So what she said basically is this sense of clarity. So I want to help share some of that with you right now. Instagram is not a brand contest, it's a tool for connecting. And it's a game. It's a game that we're playing. Now, AI is the dealer. That's a kind of poker analogy or a card game analogy. So AI is now behind Instagram. when we talk about the algorithm, what we mean is that there are now these supercomputers who are deciding what content people are going to see. And they're getting better and better at this now with the AI in the background. It's getting better at dealing the content to the correct people. Okay, so the sands are shifting right now in terms of the way the back end of these platforms work. Now, what does that mean? Number one, the algorithms favor outrage, humor, and identity connection. I want to talk through these 3 points. If I were you, I'd be writing these in your notebook right now. This is the key point from this class. So, outrage, what does that mean? We all know this. We started discovering it in the 2016 presidential election in the US. But outrage is when someone or when we experience that emotion, um, when we experience that, we are more likely to comment or to share something, which the algorithm interprets as, hey, this post is getting traction. I'm going to show it to more people. So it's inadvertently optimizing for outrage. Okay. Humor is also another one. Think about the last thing you sent. If you ever sent a reel in the past week, if you've sent it to your partner, to your girlfriend, to your sister, what was that reel? Most likely it was something that was funny or this identity connection, something where somebody says something that I see myself in. I'm always being given this like boy mom content where it's reels where they show boys doing like little boys doing absurd things. And I always forward them to my partner because it's like being a mom of boys means this, and then they show something absurd. Like I could have made a reel, but I didn't. I could have filmed my kids earlier today. There's a little pond in our garden here, and they were building a bridge in the pond, which involved them getting their winter boots completely wet and them getting all muddy and like the bridge failing and falling down. It's like, this is boy mom. This is boy mom life. It's like, watching your kids. I shouted out to them, don't get your winter boots wet because they never dry. They're such a pain. Don't get your winter boots wet. And then they said to me, don't worry, mom. We already took them off, meaning they already got the winter boots wet, took them off, and then they were barefooted in the freezing cold out in the pond, right? This is boy mom life. So, outrage, humor, and identity connection. If I see some kind of content that matches my identity as a boy mom, I'm going to like that. I'm going to share it with people. And that sharing is the number one thing that amplifies your content. So, also remember that people are here in their free time. This is what people are doing for fun. A lot of people say that like if you ask people what they when they open Instagram, it's when they want to relax. Um, like in the evening when they get home from work or when they get in bed or like, oh, when they get on their train on the way home from work. Okay, I finally made it. I can now relax. And it's just to have fun. So there's a certain lightness of what the people want to be consuming. I believe that the goal is not reach necessarily to get it to the most number of people, but it needs to resonate with the people that it does reach. So, outrage is not something that I want to encourage you to optimize for, but I will encourage you today to think about what you can say, and we'll talk more about this, what you can say that takes a stand, that makes a clear position, even if you know some people are going to disagree with that. It has to be something you can stand by and believe in. But even if you know people, it's almost better if you think other people are going to disagree with that point, because it starts to make a distinction where some people will identify and say yes to what you're saying, and some people will reject what you're saying. Either way, the algorithm is interpreting those signals as let's amplify this content. Can I see in the chat if that is making sense to people? Give a yes. Um, yes. Yeah. 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 Okay. Lots of yeses coming in. So that's how I see the algorithm these days. I have a wonderful woman that I learned from. She's a graphic designer. She did our rebrand at Yoga with our new colors and logos about a year ago. Teresa, yes, I'm definitely asking for responses in the post. I love it when people comment. That's really important. But um, if you want to make it easy for people to comment. So a lot of times I'll say just like give an emoji if you yes. Carolyn loved my bear post. I loved it too. Okay, emotion over aesthetics. So what does that mean? This brand designer that I take classes with and who redid our branding, she said this, and I thought it was so powerful that she said this because I think that she has an amazing sense of aesthetics. Um, but she said that it's emotion over aesthetics on Instagram. And what that means is that content that connects emotionally is the most important thing. So we all need to, and this is shocking that your graphic designer would tell you this because they're all such, perfectionists in creating such beautiful stuff. We actually need to drop our perfectionism about the visuals. Instead, it needs to feel true. And if you'll notice, actually, a lot of the reels that do the best now are not things that are shot perfectly edited and done by a professional photographer on an expensive $8,000 camera. They are things that are shot with an iPhone. So that feels true. That feels immediate, and that's connecting as long as what is being shown connects emotionally. So ideally, and that speaks to who was saying this, Teresa, is that your post should aim to spark a conversation. Now, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. I see this in yoga a lot. This is like a yoga Instagram disease. And yes, I'm talking about Instagram, Betty, but the same is true on Facebook. These are all principles which apply very broadly. So your post in the best case is there to spark a conversation and not to give a who, what, where of your next offering. So be honest, give a yes in the chat. If you have ever posted, if you're guilty of having posted something that's like, come to my class on Tuesday or my workshop on this weekend. It's here. It costs this. It starts here. It ends this. We're going to do this in the class. Okay. Emma is here. She's laughing. Yes. 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 Okay. Stop it. Stop it. And how many likes do those posts get? Be honest. How many? Give a number in the chat. Zero. 18. Hardly any. One. Exactly. Exactly. My mom likes them. Oh my God, that's so good, Mary. Okay, exactly. Because those posts are boring. And frankly, 10 years ago, those posts did sort of work on Instagram, but they're not working anymore, according to my thesis, because they are not connecting emotionally. Nobody is connecting with those posts because there's nothing to connect with. It's just like, um, it's almost like in the newspaper, what was it before Craigslist? Like those where it would be like help wanted or personal ads, like selling my car kind of a thing. It's just saying the facts. It's not giving me anything to connect with on an emotional level. Um, oh, June says the classifieds. Thank you, Eileen. Classifieds. June says I've just deleted yesterday's post. Okay, but you're learning from it. So like don't be so hard on yourself. I have posted stuff like this. I'm guilty of all this and I've learned all of this by trial and error. So it's not an Evite, says Brenda. Yes, this is for posts and also for stories. If you're going to do a story, you can have one slide that gives that information, but that's not the only slide of the story. And you need to build some other literal story, tell a story about it, or build some other emotion into it and speak to what the students are going to feel after the class. That's what everyone is interested in, the transformation. So, interoception is your edge. What does the word interoception mean? Theresa says, almost all of my posts are Evites. Yeah, stop doing it. But I'm going to teach you today. After today, you're never going to post that again, Teresa. So, interoception is your edge. Interoception is the real time sensing and understanding of what is going on in your body right now. So, we can close our eyes, take a full round of breath here. And you are immediately able, as a yogi, to drop down back and in to the interior landscape, and you can feel sensations or you can feel feelings that are alive in you right now. Let's do one more breath. In a single word in the chat, how do you feel right now? What is the internal state? Either a sensation word, I feel bubbly, I feel excited, I feel curious, I feel calm. I'm reading from the chat centered, frazzled, Eileen, curious, a bit overwhelmed, relieved, aware, calm. Okay. So you have that advantage. Believe it or not, most people are not as well trained at this. This is the whole, like, I wouldn't say the whole project of yoga, but this is a big part of the project of yoga. We get on our mats, and whether we're meditating or doing pranayama or we're moving or we're taking stillness or we're taking silence with Shavasana, we are interested in our real-time internal experience. So we spend time on a daily basis, in the whole week, it's probably hours that we're spending in this research process. So true, says Renata, exactly. And so we're going to we're that skill that we have, we are going to train now towards social media. And what do I mean by that? You already know how to notice what feelings and sensations are arising in you right now. That's what we just proved. So the next time you scroll, I want you to pay attention to what your bodily responses are to what you see on a sensation and feeling level. Even name them for yourself. And you're going to use that awareness to guide your creation. So, what do I mean by that last sentence? You're going to notice the kind of content that you react positively to in your internal sensory landscape. I'm assuming you don't want to be maximizing for outrage. So you're going to notice things that make you feel a certain way, inspired, or that make you feel reassured. I follow a ton of people who do this like cooking, all this style of cooking content where it's like, this is basically all the videos from these different accounts are basically it's super easy to make a high protein vegetarian dinner for your family of four in 5 minutes using a sheet pan and putting it in the oven while you do other stuff. Has anyone seen, give a yes in the chat if you've seen a reel like that. I see reels like that all the time. And I love them because I feel so hopeful and reassured as a busy working mom that, yeah, that I can create something nourishing for my family and um, just put it in the oven and it's going to be done and it's going to be delicious, right? So, my friend the other day was saying, I'm the person who uses the oven more than anyone she knows. I'm obsessed with like putting stuff in the oven and then putting it on a timer and then it's going to be ready. So, yes. So, what I notice when I see that content is I feel curious, I feel inspired, I feel reassured. Those are feelings. So notice the type of content that you enjoy, especially a big signal is the type of content that you comment on, or even bigger, share. Like the content that you share that you like enough to send to a friend, that see how you feel. Are you laughing? Are you feeling, I don't know, inspired. Dog training videos I love watching, but don't put them into practice. Yeah, but maybe you feel hopeful, June, or you feel like, okay, I could get a grip on my unruly dog somehow if I were willing to do this. Okay, so remember to post like a teacher, not a brand. You're not a brand, okay? You're a person. So you're here to teach clearly, to connect honestly, and to reflect something real back to your students. I think this reflection piece is huge for yogis. That's the place that I'm trying to play in the most on Instagram is I try to say something that is true and honest for me that hopefully you see yourself in me, that I just said something that you can identify with, and you're basically saying, me too. I also feel that way. Okay. I've been doing this morning meditation series when I get up early and I light my candle and I take a photo of that. And then I write just a single sentence about the morning meditation. And I notice that the ones that get the most reaction are the ones where I'm like just the most honest. So it's like trying to meditate, but actually just planning the outfit I'm going to wear to the dinner party I'm going to tomorrow, meditation. Like that's very relatable because you've done that before. You've been trying to meditate, but actually planning something else or thinking about something else. That's what we all do. So, yes, Teresa, I know. I see that in the chat. So, that reflection piece. Think about the more specific and honest you are about your experience, even if it's not exactly the same experience they're having, it's going to connect and resonate. I always give this example that, like, I always say, stop thinking about your ex-boyfriend's mom who's looking at your content. She's not who you're posting for. She's not your student. She's not your target. You're posting for someone else. And when I say ex-boyfriend's mom, that's so specific and so precise that each of you knows exactly who I'm talking about in your life. It may not be your ex-boyfriend's mom, but everyone put into the chat right now, be so bold and daring as to put into the chat, who is your ex-boyfriend's mom? The number one person that comes to mind, my own mom, who you're afraid of criticism or judgment. My ex-husband, absolutely. Who are you afraid? Renata says myself. Who is going to criticize you or judge you? Tracy says my daughter. Yeah, other teachers, my brother, coworkers, the yoga police, my teenage kids. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. These are the people that are limiting you, that are holding you back. And the thing from serving your students, and the thing that is so crazy about these other studios, studio clients, other teachers, what is so crazy, and you know this on some level, is that I say it's my ex-boyfriend's mom, but she doesn't really exist. When I'm editing myself, it's my voice in my head of my ex-boyfriend's mom. So it's our fears or our projections, our creations in the cinema of our own brain that that we're self-editing, or maybe we're not even posting because of that negative voice that we hear in our head. Does that make sense? We're actually creating that inside. Um, yes, Eileen says, I love what you wrote on the slide to show your practice. Reels I make spontaneously of my own practice get the most views. Exactly, because it's real and it doesn't feel faked and it doesn't feel contrived, and it doesn't feel like you did your hair perfectly. It feels like you're a real person and people want to connect with real people. So lead by example, show your practice, tell the truth. People love to see that. Like one of my best reels recently, it was just like I'm literally in jeans and an ugly sweatshirt, and I'm here doing a practice. I just put my phone on a little tripod and I'm doing a practice, and it's something about like, it's a Sunday, and like I'm in my mom jeans and I just locked my studio. My kids are out there and I don't have on tights and I'm not doing it perfectly, but like I just need to move and breathe. Okay, speak to one specific person. This is a tip I have. Think of one specific person, your favorite student, like you're not talking to a target audience. You're not on stage, you're on the toilet. The people are looking at their phone and consuming your content in the most interstitial moments of their lives. So you don't need to speak in your big voice. You're not giving a speech. You're whispering to somebody. Keep it grounded and in your voice. And I don't follow trends. I don't really look at trends. I don't really consume that much content to know what's trendy. So I don't recommend you try to do that. I'm not, um, Nadine says on my toilet. Yeah, I mean, true or false? True or false is the question. Do you think people are consuming your content in interstitial, in between moments in their day? True. True, says Laura. Yes, definitely. You don't need to please the world. You don't. Okay, let's talk about AI. So I want you to think of AI like a creative partner. Okay, and what that means is you're going to speak your draft out loud and you're going to let ChatGPT shape it with you. ChatGPT is what I use. You can use a different large language model. I don't think it makes a big difference. My brother, who is a computer scientist, has just done this project, which is so fascinating. This is like what he does in his free time. He has developed this whole personality test. He gave one of, I don't know, he found this massive psychology personality test and he gave it to all of the different big, large language models. And he's made this whole website where he is analyzing how the different models, like, what personality traits they have, like where they are on the psychopathy and the narcissism sliders and stuff. It's super interesting. But that aside, I use ChatGPT. That's what I'm going to show you today. So it's really important, or you're going to get better results if you give what's called context. So you're going to give it as much information around what you're writing as possible. So you're going to prompt it. Prompt it means like tell it. You're going to tell it the tone that you want. You're going to tell it your audience, the length that you want. You're going to stay really specific. Inside of Start Before You're Ready, it's actually what we're doing this week. This is week 7 of the program. I'm going to teach all of my AI best practices, and one of them is how to construct a master prompt that you use, that I use every single time I'm working with a large language model, working with ChatGPT, that has all of the most important information in it. So it already knows, it already has the website, the tonality there. Oh, Audra says drop that website name here. Okay, hold on. I will try to find it. Um, so it's just a tool. I know there was a lot of resistance a couple months ago around using AI. I'm increasingly hearing from yoga teachers who are starting to incorporate it. Um, so I think that's wonderful. And I think we're starting to soften. There were also a lot of objections about the environmental impacts. And I've been hearing recently some pretty reassuring numbers about the energy consumption. An hour of using ChatGPT uses much less energy than an hour of streaming Netflix, for example. Um, so, like an hour of training a model is less than 3 minutes of using your microwave. So, there are energy intensive. I mean, apparently streaming Netflix is actually quite energy intensive. I didn't know that. Um, Sophia says, I just wish it wouldn't talk to me in Welsh. Does it talk to you in Welsh? Can you tell it to stop talking to you in Welsh? Okay, so I want to share my screen with you and let's do it now in real time. Let's look at what this looks like. So let's share. This is ChatGPT. This is the chat window. And this little button right here is my favorite button because it's going to let me speak directly into it, and then it's going to transcribe what I've spoken. So I recommend you download the app on your phone and the app on your computer. That's what we're looking at right now. You can also use a web interface. I like the app on my phone because I use it a lot when I go for walks because I have my best ideas when I go for walks. So I can say, okay, send an email. We're drafting an email to my mom and Mary Richards. Here's 3 new ideas I had for something about our experiential anatomy course, blah, 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 blah. And then I speak because I'm a verbal first person and it types it up for me. And then I can also have it polish that. Okay, so hello, ChatGPT. We are writing an Instagram post right now, and what we want it to do is be about my AI for Yoga Teachers social media game um, class that's happening right now. And let's write a recap of the class. So let's let's have it be a swipe. So I want the first of the swipe to be very hooky, grab someone's attention. Um, Social media is a game, and it turns out we're all playing it wrong, or you're playing it wrong, something like that. And then let's have a couple pages swipes that are going to be the key takeaways from the class. So those key takeaways would be something like interoception is your edge, that yoga teachers are really well placed to train their internal to mine their internal experience for interoceptive awareness, and that's the place from which to create content. Another key takeaway would be emotions over aesthetics. And so what's really matters is connecting with people on an emotional level and not the perfectionism of how the posts look. And then a third key point is that people are here to have fun and they're using this to relax. And so we want to keep the content light. And maybe one fourth key point is to stop posting classifieds ads. Who, what, where, when is my next class, because that's not that interesting. It's not going to get that much engagement. Okay, give me a draft. My brand voice is warm, intelligent, and authentic. And I'm speaking to a 45-year-old woman who's a yoga teacher who is shy and afraid of putting herself out there on Instagram. Okay, so I spoke for 2 minutes, and now ChatGPT is going to take all of that text. There it is, everything that I said, and now organize it into a swipe. Social media is a game. Most yoga teachers are playing it wrong. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to connect. When you post from interoception, from felt experience, you create resonance, not performance. Your edge as a yoga teacher isn't how your grid looks, it's your awareness. Interoception is your creative superpower. Emotion beats aesthetics every single time. Don't polish, feel. That's what people remember. Slide 5, people open Instagram to relax, not to study. Keep it light, make it human, let them feel your energy. Oh my God, how good is this, you guys? Teresa is saying, wow. Stop posting like a classified ad. No one's scrolling for Tuesday, 6 p.m. videos. That's really good. Oh my God. Tell a story, share a feel. That's how you fill your classes. The CTA means call to action. So swipe 7 is the closed call to action. The moment you start playing the social media game differently from your nervous system instead of your to-do list, everything changes. Oh my God, I'm going to post this. This is so good. This is what we practice inside AI for Yoga Teachers social media game. Okay, Sophia says this is amazing. I'm blown away. It's better than I even thought. This was a real-time demonstration, right? Wow. Yeah, really, really, really good. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. So I was clicking through, I was cheating behind the scenes and looking at my notes to tell it what. Okay, so AI is your creative partner. This is where we were. That's exactly how I'm saying to use it. AI is great at, here's my list of things I want you from now on to start using it for. Brainstorming ideas and headlines, organizing messy drafts, summarizing long text into clear takeaways. You can imagine that, summarizing all of your blah blah into clear takeaways. Polishing your writing while keeping your tone. So you can give it something else that you've written and say, and then you can have something that's more drafty and say, polish this to match the tone of this. Offering variations so you can choose what feels right. I often say, give me 5 options, give me 10 options of things, not something that was so long as what we just did, but shorter things um, to save you time so you can focus on your teaching. Okay, so here's some sample prompts. If you know how to screenshot, I would suggest you screenshot these and try these the next time you're using AI. Turn this rambling stream of consciousness to a caption in my voice. Speak to women navigating perimenopause, for example. So this would be something maybe you could go for a walk and say, I'm going to give you kind of speak stream of consciousness about a workshop or a retreat that I'm offering. And I want you to shift it into my tone of voice. What I mean by speak to women navigating perimenopause is you're giving it the context of who you're talking to. Here's a draft post. Please ask me questions so I can answer and we can add in more emotion, first person experience, and trigger engagement. So, one thing you could do is ask it to ask you questions that are going to pull out things from you, stories, vignettes, ideas that it's going to then incorporate. What's happening in the chat? Are we getting a recording? Yes, Eileen. If you're subscribed to Start Before You're Ready newsletter, which I know you are, I will send out a recording there. So you can also ask it to rewrite this class description for a studio newsletter and make it, let's say, for example, warm, concise, clear, whatever how you like to speak. But you can give it something that's already written and then change formats. It's really good at that, from a class description to a newsletter. You can also say, I'm trying to share something vulnerable, but without sounding dramatic. Help me find the tone, and it'll help you work through something. So these are really good sample prompts to put in. This is a key point. This is a key skill I want you to take away from today's class. Take 10 minutes with a pen and paper and write by hand. Ideally, after you've done what I just showed at the beginning, 10 minutes of practice, 10 minutes of Shavasana, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of asana, and then directly, without stopping at your phone or checking your email, you're going to sit down with a pen, an old-fashioned pen and paper, and you're going to write by hand. These are great prompts to get you started. Take one of these. What truth could I share that might feel risky but would be real? What have I been scared to say that they might need to hear? Where do I feel stuck in my teaching or my business? Then, after you write that draft by hand, you're going to have a couple pages of handwriting in 10 minutes. You're going to read that into ChatGPT and you're going to ask for help shaping it into a post, a caption, a newsletter, whatever it is you're creating. Give a yes in the chat if that makes sense, that process. I want to be clear that you're understanding. It's a collaboration with AI. I once heard that Winston Churchill employed two assistants simultaneously. These women would be on the typewriters, and he would often be dictating two different letters at once because they were too slow, and his brain was too fast that he was working on two things at once, or a speech and a letter at the same time. Your AI, your ChatGPT is that for you. It's your assistant who's going to write down what you're saying and help you polish it. And we haven't even gone into so many other tools that I use it for research, etc. But yes, so Christina summarized it for us all in the chat. Practice, journal, AI, post. Most yoga teachers try to grow their business by hustling harder, but that doesn't work. Neither does copying marketing formulas that don't feel authentic. This just leads to burnout, inconsistency, and frustration, which many of you shared at the beginning. So you're not broken. That's what I want to. I want to give you all a hug. I wish I could give you a hug and say, you're not broken. You just haven't found a system that works for your nervous system, your energy, and your voice. Start before you're ready. My mentorship takes a different approach. Now I'm going to tell you what you're going to learn inside of that mentorship. Nadine says, my nervous system thanks you. Now is the moment when you are welcome to leave the Zoom room if you've had enough. I'm sending you a deep namaste. Give a yes in the chat if you want to hear about Start Before You're Ready and hear about the process and the program. Yeah, that I'm so excited about. Okay, lots of yeses. So good. So it's a different approach. What you're going to learn is number one, embodied creativity, to use simple movement and nervous system tools to unlock flow so your content feels natural and not forced. Number two, we're going to talk about aligned efficiency that streamlines your creative process with AI support so that you save time. And I keep talking about this not losing your voice. That's super important. I'm not teaching you how to become a version of me. I'm wanting you to amplify your own voice. It's also about sustainable visibility. So I want you to share consistently, not constantly, but consistently. And I really want you to attract the right students without feeling like a marketing monster. So goodbye, Betty. Thank you. Baby steps for me. You're always welcome. Bye, Melinda. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. So this sustainable visibility is really important to me. I've been at this game for 10 years. I don't feel like I'm anywhere close to burning out. I feel like my creativity is bubbling over and I have so many outlets for sharing it. I love what I do. And I have a really spacious life. Like, honestly, like I said, I walk my kids to kindergarten in the morning and then I work. I have lunch with my husband every day, like an actual proper whole food, sit down, nourishing lunch. We drink a coffee after lunch in one of his hand cast concrete cups. And then sometimes I do a little bit more work or I do a shavasana. I've been going for walks a lot after lunch and then I pick up the kids and cook dinner. The evenings I Zoom with EA right now. So um, together, these practices create a system you can actually sustain and a business that grows with you. You don't need to become someone else. You need a process that makes you more you and students to see so that the right students will find and connect with you. I see that someone has like I need to Cynthia has their, okay, I don't know how to turn that off right now, but hopefully Cynthia is not going to draw on my screen. I just do see a little mark. Okay, so Start Before You're Ready is a 10-week group mentorship for yoga teachers and studio owners. The format is 10 90-minute live group calls with recordings that blend structured teaching, mindset, coaching, and your questions. It's inside of a container where there's real-time feedback and accountability and connection to a group of peers who share your goals. What's the content inside? So it's weekly themes for the 10 weeks. I give you writing prompts and I give you homework. Remember what I talked about at the beginning, that brass pipe that is curved, but it's made of straight pieces. So the homework is designed. They're bite-sized pieces of things you can actually do. I expect the homework to take you an hour or less between the sessions that you are able, you don't even realize you've now curved the pipe by assembling a set of carefully placed sections. It's really fundamentally about transformation. So you'll leave with clarity, consistency, and the confidence to share your voice without burning out. So, what is the investment? What does it cost to join this group mentorship program? It's going to be 2,800 US dollars or 2,400 euros. You can pay in either currency. And there's a 6-month payment plan available. We're offering right now a Black Friday deal. So it's 25% off. It's huge. It's 2,100 US dollars or 1,800 euros. You can also apply the Black Friday deal to the payment plan. That's all before November 28th. What are the next steps? You can book a free 30-minute call with me if you want to talk through whether it's a good fit. I just noticed that there are only 4 calls left before Black Friday. Here's the QR code. If you point your phone at this code here in the corner of the screen, you can go to the place where you can book your call or where you can enroll in the mentorship. If those spots get taken up or you can't make it to one of the times, you're welcome to email me a list of your questions and I will send you a voice note back answering them for you. You'll send that email to lassiter.yoga@gmail.com and Sarah Jane will forward it directly to me. If you want to enroll today, all you have to do is go to lassiter.yoga and click on the Black Friday offer. I'm going to show you how to do that right now so that you can see also where to book the calls. And at the end of this class today, I have a few minutes for questions. If you want to ask anything now, I'm happy to stay and answer. So this is lassiter.yoga. And if you go there, here I have our Black Friday offerings. So if you click here on Start Before You're Ready, then the coupon is already applied. The 20% off is already applied. If you scroll down a little bit, this is your place to book a call. If you click that, it's going to show you a calendar and I can see a couple of them. One of them has already been taken. So there's 1 call here or there's 2 calls. These are the last calls before Black Friday ends. Or you don't have to wait and book a call. Like I said, you can send me an email at lassiter.yoga@gmail.com. Or if you're ready to do it, you can scroll down to the bottom here and you have the checkout links. It's self-checkout. You can book yourself in to the course right here where it says enroll now if you want to do US dollars or if you want to do euros. If you're doing euros, make sure you have to apply the coupon code at the checkout when you get there. Okay, let me show you. I have like 3 more slides before I open it up for questions. So this QR code will also take you directly to that website. So if this stirred something in you, if you're feeling a quiet yes or a flicker of possibility, I really want you to trust that. I want you to jump in with us. And I know that that's where the change begins. If you're attracted to this process and you want to learn with me, someone who's deeply grounded in yoga, but also loves sharing and loves this kind of really mindful marketing, then I hope you'll join us. That's what I have for us today. What questions do you have? You can put them in the chat. You can raise your hand and I can call on you and unmute you. what would help you take your next step? Namaste. That's my last slide for us. Um, Thank you. This has been wonderful. Very interesting, says Maya. Dates. Okay, Monette, let's look at that. So if we go to the website again, this is at Lassiter.yoga, and we look at this gives you all the details here. So it's 10 live group coaching calls. They're all recorded. I think someone just joined today from Australia, so she won't be joining the lives. But these are the dates, and they're always Wednesdays, exactly when this class started. So whenever this class started for you in your time zone, that's when they're going to start, except for on Wednesdays. We take a couple weeks off, like for my kids' spring break and for the Easter break, we take a week off. Um, but other than that, and here are the times, it's 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern. It's 2 o'clock in London or 3 o'clock in the EU where I am. What's happening in the chat? So grateful for you and all you do for our community. Thank you so much, Lizzie. I'm so grateful for the advice, the motivation. I have 24-year-old twin boys. I love Salzburg. My sister got married in the Mirabelle Palace. Yeah, that's the place. It's really beautiful. Pondering, says Julia. Yeah. Um, I hope that you will join us. How long are the classes? Monette says they're 90 minutes. So they're a similar length as this. And I give you the notes for those classes. I give you a PDF of the notes. Um, and I speak to you about a different concept each week. What are you thinking, Karen? See you. I think this sounds fantastic, and I have a call book just to check a few things. Good, Sophia. I think it would be a great fit for you. Thank you, Paula. Thank you. So helpful, Tracy. I'm super happy. I'm super happy to share this information. I want to uplift the quality of the content that yogis are creating. And especially like the thing that resonated the most with me today is how many of you identified with the classified ads type of posts. Like nobody, what was it? This was such a good line. No one is scrolling for a Tuesday 6 p.m. vinyasa. That's so good. That made me laugh. So, okay, Sarah wants to know, would this be helpful for a longtime yoga teacher, 40 plus years, and former studio owner who doesn't know what programs, classes, etc. I want to teach now? Yes. Yeah, I do think it would be helpful because I think there's some of the homework, especially at the beginning, is about figuring out what it is that you offer, who it is that you serve. And so that forces you, encourages you, creates a framework for you to do some thinking, Sarah, about what it is that you want to offer. I'm really passionate about helping us take steps in the direction of, and they don't have to be perfect. Um, you don't have to know it at the beginning. You're never going to feel ready. Like something I always say. I just sent the draft of Mama and my book to our editor, the first draft the editor has seen. We've been working on it all year. I did not feel ready to start writing. I did not feel ready to sign the book deal. I did not feel ready to start writing it. I did not feel ready yesterday when I sent the draft to the editor. But like, I just keep doing the next tiny step on my to-do list. The next thing is I need to work on my chapter called the Shavasana, the restorative yoga lifestyle. Like, okay, that's what I got to get up and do. So I'm not waiting until oh, I'm going to just wait until I feel ready to write the book because that's never. Yeah, Sarah, it's true. You're never going to feel ready. And the thing is, if everything works out in the best case, you're always going to be given bigger and bigger projects and bigger stages and bigger classes. I remember when I was pretty young, I was maybe 30 and I got invited to come teach a big restorative yoga training. Maybe I was 33, restorative yoga training in Australia. And then the woman emailed me and said, like, we have 50 people for your training. And I was like, oh my God. I don't feel ready. I don't know I've never had a class of 50 people before, but baby steps moving in the direction of. What if Monette wants to know, what if you don't have a website or Instagram and piggyback off my yoga studio's website? So what you need to ask yourself, Monette, is are you creating any content? The core of this mentorship is about creating content because I think content is the engine, the growth engine of your business. But if you're not creating any content, it might not be, or you don't want to ever create any content, it might not be a good fit because I am going to be talking about Instagram. I'm going to be talking about how to teach yoga online, how to teach yoga on Zoom. We did a whole session about my best practices I did a studio tour. I gave them a list of all of the tech that I recommend, everything I'm using, my whole philosophy about how to set up the room, the lighting, the sound, um, the recordings, all my best practices for like just actually being here on Zoom with you. Um, so, but like if Monette, you're not interested in doing anything in the digital space and you don't want to do Instagram and you don't want to have a website, I don't know, or ever want to create those things, it might not be um the best fit. Yeah. Diane says one small obvious step always shows me what the next obvious step is. Renate, when yoga business life needs a change, I feel this is the chance to have a good companion for the next steps into the new future. It is, Renate. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, Monette. No. Monette is asking, should I create them first and then take the class later? No. If you want to create those things, it's absolutely the right place. Sign up for the class. Because if you create everything and then you come and then I'm telling you like the opposite, no, no, no. I think it's better that you sign up and then you're going to start from scratch. Because I think, for example, most people's yoga websites, yoga teacher websites, are way too complicated and they're doing way too much on there. I have a real streamlined approach to what I think you need to include on your website, and it's a lot less than you think. Um, Teresa wants to see the schedule one more time. Absolutely. So here's the schedule. It starts January 21st. So you can sign up now by Black Friday, and then you have a couple months to breathe and get through the holidays. And then January, I'm doing these mentorships kind of on the school semester schedule. So there's the fall semester is running right now, and then I'm thinking of this as the spring semester cohort. And then I won't do it again until maybe next fall. I don't know for sure. Um, but it starts January 21st after you have time to recover from the holidays. And then we'll go every Wednesday, except like I said, there's a jump for my kids' spring break here between February 4 and 18. And then there's another jump for Easter break here. All right, let's go back to the chat. Yes, you do have access beyond the class on the platform. I think it's 3 years. Let's look and see if I put it here at the FAQ. When does the mentorship start and end? What if I miss a live call? Maybe it's here. You'll have full access to replays. It doesn't say. I think it's 3 years. But if you email me, I'll give you a definitive answer. What if I have what am I seeing here? What if I have a combined business, teach yoga, and also have a massage therapist? Both areas need growth. Yes, Lon, this is perfect for you, especially with something like massage because you have something very clear that you can sell. And so imagine if you can do the math. How many sessions do you need to sell to make back your investment in the course? And what would it mean to reach out to those people? Or if you crafted, which I encourage, packages so that you're not making as many individual smaller ticket sales, but you're selling larger things to fewer people. You're welcome, Renata. Thanks for coming. What was the investment again, please? Let's look. I teach yoga and the studio manager and just moved my Reiki business into the studio literally last week. Head swirling. You've got to do it, Teresa. I think you would be a great fit. Okay, let me show the investment piece. So this is the price, the full price, but if you jump in before November 28th, it's going to be this. And then if you click through here, it's divided into a 6-month payment plan in either currency. Okay, 2 more minutes for questions. Tracy says, I'm very grateful for this information, really encouraged to start before I am ready. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Lon. I'm so grateful for your time and your attention here. Let me go to gallery view. And those of you that are still here, inhale the breath, open the palms away from the body. With an exhalation, bring them together in front of your heart. Namaste. May we live like the lotus at home in the muddy water. Please do your journaling homework. Try prompting ChatGPT with those suggestions that I gave you. Try out my process. I'm seeing lots of thank yous and dankeschöns in the chat. You're all so very welcome. And I hope to work with you and start before you're ready. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Love learning from you. Love teaching with you. All of it.